In this video, we're going to start the KutaSoftware Infinite Algebra 2 free worksheet planes. For numbers 1 through 4, we're to find the intercepts for each plane. Now, if you remember from our two-dimensional coordinate system, the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, and the x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So for finding intercepts in 3 dimensions, the x-intercept will occur when y and z are equal to 0. The y-intercept will occur when x and z are equal to 0, and the z-intercept will occur when x and y are equal to 0. So let's first find that x-intercept. The x-intercept occurs when y is 0 and z is 0. So if y is 0 and z is 0, 0 times 16 is 0. So our equation will be negative 12x equal to negative 48. So we'll have negative 12x equal to negative 48, and when we divide both sides by negative 12, we'll get that x is equal to negative 48 divided by negative 12, which is a positive 4. So that x-intercept is a positive 4. Now let's solve for the y-intercept. The y-intercept occurs when x equals 0 and z equals 0. So that means we're going to have negative 16y equal to negative 48. So negative 16y equals negative 48. Then we'll divide both sides by 16, and that's a negative 16, in order to find that y-intercept. So the y-intercept is equal to negative 48 divided by negative 16, which is a positive 3. And then lastly, we need to locate that z-intercept. And that occurs when x and y are both 0. So we'll have negative 16z equal to negative 48. So dividing by negative 16, we'll get that z is equal to a positive 3. So we have that the x-intercept is 4, the y-intercept is 3, and the z-intercept is 3. That's our solution in number 1. And if we were to think about that coordinate system, here's the z-axis, the y-axis, and the x-axis. Our intercepts would be at positive 4 in the x, positive 3 in the y, and positive 3 in the z. So note, we're not to the right, left, or up and down when we are on that x-axis. For the y-axis, we're not forward, back, up, or down. We're only to the right or to the left. And on that z-axis, we're only up or down, not forward, back, right, or left from that origin. Let's continue on to number 2. In number 2, we're going to solve for our x-intercept, and that's when y and z are equal to 0. So if both y and z are 0, we'll have 2x equal to negative 4. So 2x equals negative 4, and when I divide by positive 2, I'll isolate my x, which will give me my x-intercept value, because I'm solving for x, given that y and z are 0, and negative 4 divided by 2 is a negative 2. So my x-intercept is negative 2. Now onto my y-intercept. My y-intercept occurs when x is 0, so 2 times 0 is 0, and when z is 0. So that leaves me with y equal to negative 4. So my y-intercept is negative 4. And then lastly, my z-intercept occurs when x is 0 and y is 0, which leaves me with z equal to negative 4. So my z-intercept is negative 4. And that is my solution in number 2. Let's continue on to number 3. And number 3, remember our intercepts occur when those other variables are equivalent to 0. So if we're solving for our x-intercept, y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0. So I'll have negative x is equal to a positive 2. So negative x equals a positive 2. However, I have to solve for positive x. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. And that will give me that x is equal to a negative 2. Therefore, my x-intercept, because y and z were 0, occurs at negative 2. Now let's look at that y-intercept. My y-intercept occurs when x and z are 0. So y equals 2 will be our y-intercept. So the y-intercept occurs at 2. And then finally, we're going to look at that z-intercept. So x is 0, y is 0, so we have negative z equals a positive 2. And if negative z equals a positive 2, then I'll need to multiply both sides by negative 1 in order to get this z positive. Because negative 1 times negative z is a positive z, and I'll get that z is equal to a negative 2. Therefore, my z-intercept occurs at negative 2. So negative 2, positive 2, negative 2 are my x, y, and z intercepts respectively. Let's move on to number 4. At number 4, solving for my x-intercept, if y is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, and if z is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, so I'll have 4x equal to 12. So I will solve when 4x equals 12, and that will give me my x-intercept. So dividing by 4, I'll get that x equals 3, so my x-intercept occurs at positive 3, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, for my y-intercept, if x is 0, 4 times 0 is 0, and z is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, so I'll have 6y equal to 12. 6y equals 12. When I solve this, I'll get my value of my y-intercept. So dividing both sides by 6, I'll get that my y-intercept is equal to a positive 2. And then lastly, I'll solve for my z-intercept, which occurs when x and y are 0. So 4 times 0 is 0, and 6 times 0 is 0. So I'll have 3z equal to a positive 12. And when I divide by 3, I'll get that z-intercept is equal to 4. So x-intercept is equal to 3, y-intercept is 2, and the z-intercept is 4. Let's continue on to our next section. Our next section states to sketch each plane. And in order to sketch that plane, if you remember from number 1, how we graphed where our x, z, and y-intercepts were, in order to sketch that, all we would do would be to connect those intercepts with a straight line and then shade in that plane. So for numbers 5 through 8, in order to sketch the plane, we need to find those intercepts, plot them, and then connect them. So for number 5, remember our x-intercept occurs when y and z are 0. So that means that my x-intercept is going to be negative 8 times x equals positive 24. Because if y is 0, 12 times y is 0, and if z is 0, 12 times z is 0. Now I'll divide by a negative 8 to get that my x-intercept is going to be at negative 3, because 24 divided by negative 8 is negative 3. So I'm going to plot negative 3, 0, 0. So going back 3, 0 to the right or left, and 0 up or down. Now let's find that y-intercept. The y-intercept occurs when x is 0 and z is 0. So that's going to be positive 12y equal to 24, and dividing by 12 will give me that y is equal to a positive 2, and that's when x is 0 and z is 0. So the next point I'll plot is 0, 2, 0. So 0 forward or back, 2 to the right, and 0 up or down. And then finally, my z-intercept occurs when x and y are 0. So that's negative 12z equal to a positive 24. Dividing by negative 12, I'll get that z equals a negative 2. So I'm going to plot the point 0, 0, negative 2. So 0 forward or back, 0 right or left, and 2 down. Now I will connect each of those with a line. And then filling it in. And that's my plane in number 5. Let's continue on to number 6. In number 6, we're going to start with that x-intercept. So when y and z are 0, I'll have 4x equal to 12. Dividing by 4, I'll get that x equals 3, so I'm going to plot the point 3, 0, 0. So that's 3 forward from that origin, 0 right or left, and 0 up or down. Now, for the y-intercept, 4x is 0, 3z will be 0, so I'll have 6y equal to 12. And dividing by 6, I'll get that y equals a positive 2. So I'm going to be plotting that intercept 0, 2, 0. So 0 forward or back, 2 to the right, and 0 up or down. And lastly, that z-intercept, if x and y are 0, that's going to be 3z equal to 12. So dividing both sides by 3, I'll get that z equals a positive 4. So I'm going to plot the point 0, 0, 4. 0 forward or back, 0 right or left, but 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I would connect each of those points with a line and shade that in for my plane. And that's my solution in number 6. Let's continue on to number 7. First, we're going to locate that x-intercept. So that occurs when y and z are 0, therefore 3x equals 6 will give us the x-coordinate value for that intercept, and dividing by 3 will get that x equals 2. So we're going to be plotting 2, 0, 0. Now for our y-intercept, that occurs when x is 0 and z is 0. So 2y, and that's a negative 2y, equals 6. So dividing by negative 2, we'll get that y equals a negative 3. So we're going to plot the point 0, negative 3, 0. And then lastly, for our z-intercept, that occurs when x and y are 0, so 3z equals 6. And dividing by 3, we'll get that z is equal to a positive 2. So that's going to be 0, 0, 2 for our z-intercept. Let's plot each of those. 2, 0, 0 is 2 forward, 0 right or left, and 0 up or down. 0, negative 3, 0, 0 forward or back, negative 3, so 3 to the left, and 0 up or down. That y-intercept. And then lastly, our z-intercept, which is going to fall on that z-axis, 0, 0, and positive 2. So now we'll connect each of those intercepts with a line and shade in that plane. And that's our solution in number 7. Now lastly in this video, I'm going to be going over number 8. So in order to sketch this plane, negative 3x plus 2y minus 2z equals negative 6, I need to start by finding each of the intercepts. So the x-intercept occurs when negative 3x equals negative 6. Dividing both sides by negative 3, I'll get that x has a value of positive 2 for the intercept. So that's 2, 0, 0, and plotting that, that's 2 forward. Now let's look at that y-intercept, which occurs when x and z are 0. So 2y is equal to negative 6. Therefore, when I divide by 2, that gives me a y value of negative 3. So I will plot the point 0, negative 3, 0. So that's 3 to the left. And then lastly, for my z-intercept, that occurs when x and y are 0. So that's going to be negative 2z equal to negative 6, which, when dividing by negative 2, will give me that z is equal to a positive 3. So plotting the point 0, 0, 3, that's going to be 3 up. Now I will connect my intercepts together with lines. So connecting the y-intercept to the z-intercept, connecting the x-intercept to the y-intercept, and connecting the x-intercept to the z-intercept. And now I'll shade in my plane. And that's my final solution in this video. Join me in the next video where I'll finish this worksheet completing numbers 9 through 14. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And before continuing on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All likes and subscriptions are greatly appreciated, and just let me know that you're finding these videos useful. So go ahead and do that now.